Welcome back to Financial Fundamentals, where we break down money concepts so they actually make sense. Today, we are talking about something that almost nobody teaches you: how to figure out if a job with a modest paycheck is actually paying you way more than you think. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to look at a job offer and see the full picture, not just the number on your paycheck stub. That skill alone can be worth tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Let's get into it. So here's the situation. Imagine you are 39 years old. Maybe you switched careers. Maybe life happened. A layoff, family stuff, a path that zigged when you expected it to zag. And now you are in an entry-level position. The salary is not blowing anyone away, but the benefits are almost embarrassingly good. And you are sitting there thinking, am I behind? Did I mess up? Is it too late? I want to talk directly to that feeling. Because if that is you, or if you know someone in that situation, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not behind. You might actually be holding a better hand than you realize. You just need to learn how to read it. Let's start with a concept. Total compensation. That is a fancy term, so let us break it down. Total compensation just means everything your job is actually paying you, not just your salary, but every single thing your employer gives you that has real dollar value. Think of it like ordering a pizza. The salary is the pizza itself, but total compensation is the pizza, the breadsticks, the dipping sauce, and the free 2-liter. Some jobs give you just the pizza. Some jobs give you the whole deal. And the whole deal adds up. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, which tracks this stuff regularly, benefits typically make up around 30% of what workers actually earn. So if someone is making $50,000 a year in salary, the real value of their job might be closer to $70,000 or more once you count everything in. Most people never think about that. Most people just look at the salary number and stop there. You are not going to do that anymore. Okay, let us walk through what those benefits actually look like in real life. And I want to do this with a made-up person. Let us call them Alex. Alex is 39, just started an entry-level public sector job. Think government, university, hospital, utility company, and earns $50,000 a year. This is a completely illustrative example, not a prediction of what will happen to you, but it is going to make this whole thing click. Benefit number 1, the pension. Now, a lot of younger people have never worked somewhere that offers a pension, so let me explain what that is from scratch. A pension, sometimes called a defined benefit plan, is basically a promise from your employer that when you retire, they will pay you a set amount of money every single month for the rest of your life. It is like a monthly paycheck that keeps coming in even after you stop working. You earn it by working there over time. The formula for most pensions looks like this. You take your years of service, meaning how long you worked there, times a percentage, usually something like 2%, times your final average salary. That math gives you your annual pension payment. So let us run it for Alex. If Alex works there for 25 years and retires with a final salary of $75,000, the math goes like this. 2% times 25 years equals 50%, and 50% of $75,000 is $37,500 every year for life. Think about that. $37,500 a year coming in, guaranteed every year in retirement just for having worked there. That is not nothing, that is massive. And here's the wild part. According to Bureau of Labor Statistics data, only about 15% of private sector workers, meaning people who work for regular companies, not the government, have access to a pension. So if your job has one, that is genuinely rare. Do not take it for granted. Now, and this is important, pensions are not completely risk-free. There is something called vesting, which means you have to work there for a certain number of years before that pension is truly yours. If you leave before you vest, you may get little or nothing, and the health of the pension fund matters. Some pension programs are better funded than others. So valuable? Absolutely. Free money with zero strings? Not quite. Eyes open. Okay, let us pause for a second and do a quick check-in. So far, we have talked about total compensation, which is everything your job pays you, not just salary, and we talked about pensions, which are monthly income for life and retirement earned through years of service. Does that make sense? Good. Let us keep going. Benefit number 2, the employer retirement match. This one applies to a 401k or a 403b. Those are just names for retirement savings accounts you get through work. A 401k is typically offered by private companies. A 403b is usually offered by nonprofits, schools, and hospitals. Same basic idea, different name. You put money in from your paycheck and it grows over time in investments, things like stock funds and bond funds. You do not pay taxes on it right now. You pay taxes later when you take the money out in retirement. Now here's where the match comes in. A lot of employers will say something like, "We will match 100% of what you put in, up to 5% of your salary." That sounds complicated. Let me make it simple. If Alex earns $50,000 and puts in 5%, that is $2,500. The employer drops in another $2,500 for free, just for showing up and saving. That is like your boss handing you a $2,500 bonus every single year just because you chose to save. If you do not contribute enough to get that full match, you are leaving free money on the table. That is the one thing I will say as directly as I possibly can. And just like pensions, that employer match usually has a vesting schedule, meaning you might have to stay for 3 to 6 years before that match money is fully yours. So always know your vesting timeline. It matters. Benefit number 3, healthcare. This one is huge and people constantly underestimate it. A good employer-sponsored health plan can be worth somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000 a year for a family. Those numbers come from the KFF Employer Health Benefits Survey, which tracks this annually. Your situation will vary, but the point is, health coverage has a real dollar value. If your employer is paying the bulk of that premium for you, the monthly cost of the insurance, that is money you are not spending out of your own pocket. Compare that to someone making $10,000 or $15,000 more at a job where they pay their own health insurance. Once you subtract that insurance bill, the salary gap might flip completely. The higher paying job might actually leave less money in your pocket at the end of the day. Benefit number 4, tuition reimbursement. A lot of these benefit-rich employers, governments, universities, hospitals, will pay for you to go to school while you work, sometimes up to $5,000 a year or more. Think about what that means for Alex. Over 5 years, that could be $25,000 in education with no student loans. That is not just a perk. That is a career ladder someone else is paying for. Now let me put Alex's full picture together so we can really see it. Stated salary, $50,000. Add the employer retirement match of $2,500. Add the employer-paid health coverage, estimated at roughly $15,000. Add $5,000 in tuition reimbursement. And on top of all of that, Alex is accruing a pension that will eventually pay $37,500 a year for life. The immediate annual total, before even counting the future pension value, is already around $72,500 to $73,000. Not $50,000, $73,000. And here's where I want to address something directly. The voice in your head that says it is too late to start at 39. I hear it, a lot of people feel it, but let me show you why that voice is wrong. If Alex puts in $5,000 a year into that retirement account, which includes their own contribution and the employer match, and that money grows at an average of 6% a year for 25 years, the math works out to roughly $275,000 at retirement. That is a completely illustrative example, not a guarantee. Investments go up and down, and past returns do not predict the future. But it shows you that time in the market, even starting later, still has real power. And here's something else. At age 50, the IRS allows what are called catch-up contributions, meaning you get to put even more into your retirement account each year beyond the normal limit. The exact numbers change annually, so look up the current limits, but the point is the system actually accounts for people who start later. There is a path, so just to make sure we are on the same page before we wrap up, the title on your badge does not determine your financial future. What determines your financial future is what you do with what you have. And if what you have includes a pension, a match, and strong healthcare, you have real tools. Entry-level title, maybe. Entry-level financial situation, not necessarily. All right, before we close out, think about this for a second. If someone offered you $10,000 or $20,000 more in salary but took away your pension, your health coverage, and your match, would you actually come out ahead? Really sit with that, because that is the calculation most people never make. And now you know how to make it. Here is the single most important takeaway from today. Do not judge a job by its salary alone. Add everything up: pensions, matches, healthcare, tuition, paid leave. The real number might surprise you, and that real number is what actually determines your financial future. If this helped you see something differently today, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this stuff. And if you know someone at a crossroads with a job decision, share this with them. This is exactly the kind of thing nobody sits you down to explain, and that is exactly why financial fundamentals exists. Drop a comment below. What benefits does your job offer that you have never really thought about in dollar terms? Or if there is a money concept that has always confused you, leave it in the comments. We go through every single one, and your question might become the next video. You showed up today to learn something. That matters. Most people never even ask these questions. You are already ahead. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Markets and investments carry risk, including the possible loss of principal. Always do your own research and consult a licensed financial professional before making investment, tax, or money decisions.